All right, good morning, everyone. Who's happy to be here today? I know I am. Okay, nice. So, starting on that positive note, I would like to ask everyone a question. What does being happy mean to you? When I say happiness, what comes first in your mind? Okay, does anyone want to share? Like, just briefly, whatever's at the top of your head. Uh, Mr. Masterton?
Happiness, what comes to our mind? Optimism and life.
Thank you. Anyone else? Can I have one more? One more person? Let's see. Okay.
My friend Riley.
Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts. So for me personally, one of my examples of happiness is whenever I return home and see my dog, Bear. There's supposed to be a picture of him up here. I don't know why it's not projecting, but yeah, he's very cute. So yeah, he's like wagging his tails with his ears pulled downwards. It's like welcoming me back. Regardless, I'm pretty sure, or I think that only a few of you, that no one thought of the literal meanings of the words. Adjective, the feelings or showing pleasure or contentment, or noun, the state of being happy. These are the Oxford definitions when you Google what happy and happiness mean. Obviously, they're true to the general labeling of what being happy is. However, our brains wouldn't interpret them like that in its relaxed and casual state. Instead, they work according to a philosophical theory called empiricism, which argues that knowledge can only be derived through our senses and personal experience. Now, back to some of the answers that two audience members have given us. They are the results of inputting the keyword happiness into the brain and searching through the authentic materials from our individual lives for the match. Because of this, we can see that the definitions of happiness doesn't have to be a fixed statement. And based on your different responses, whatever was in your head, we have demonstrated that we can construct meaning from each of our own memories. And as we can see from earlier, based on the different approaches we have to the subject, it is our comparable feeling that guide us towards the common understanding of what happiness is. This can also be applied to the rest of our emotions, anger, sadness, boredom, etc. There seems to be a connection between our stored impression of the world and the responses we make in our daily lives. So, this special relationship between one's memories and who they are, their identity, is it what makes us people human? Subconsciously, we just know memory as the ability to remember and recall the information that we've been exposed to. However, the real intricacy of this phenomenon begins to be revealed when we look at it through a more psychological lens. The Queensland Brain Institute has created a diagram that categorizes the different types of memories into these big and small branches above. Some of you guys might either go, wow, this is so cool, or what is this, Riley? I didn't sign up for this. Well, I guess why it would be intriguing to learn about them all, but I'll only be mainly talking about one particular kind today, episodic memory. As we can see, episodic memories, which can also be referred as autobiographical, are memories of events that happen to us. Basically, if I ask my friend, bro, remember that one time you tripped and fell 2 seconds into the basketball game? And they reply, oh my God, yeah. Then we should start hysterically laughing for no reason? Yes. That's one of the countless examples of how an episodic memory can be so naturally incorporated into our daily lives. And up to this very moment, we have never stopped building onto our storage of living experiences. On the surface level of consciousness, the audience would simply think that we're listening as Riley speaks. Whereas what's actually happening on the inside is so much more complex. According to Healthy Brains by Cleveland Clinic, as every second passes, each of our brains with an estimated of 100 billion neurons is constantly capturing and processing information around us. The network of neuronal signals that are coded would voluntarily lay down the basis of our mental existence. And that will then evolve and grow with us over time. Therefore, the personal materials that we have accumulated as we grow and mature are what directly composes our characteristics. Even beyond that, their importance goes as far as shaping our identities and sense of self, highly distinctive factors that are tied closely to the core of each individual's awareness. Once I attended the speech and debate club at my school, we had to prepare a 2-minute speech to prompt life is. I remember that one talked about how life is a pain, which is kind of true, while another filled in the blank by saying life is an adventure. Well, when it was my turn, I decided to wow everybody in the room with my mind-blowing opinions. Can you guys guess what I came up with? I'm already up there, but drum roll, please. Life is life. Okay, cricket noise, awkward, lame, I know. But let me just justify myself, okay? Hear me out. I know you guys must be disappointed what I came up with, but let me just justify my answer by showing you some of my notes from that speech. So if you have a look at the bullet points where I put like a pink star next to, my first justification goes, it can be anything while not being like anything. It can be so heaven-like taking your last assignment box on the list and have the rest of the day to yourself. Pretty amazing, right? Or it can be awful, and I mean awful. Maybe you got heartbroken by your loved ones, or like whatever, So nobody can have their whole life planned out, and there are going to be unexpected turns. So my point is, there's no universal metaphor to life because anything can happen to anyone. And so far, I've only associated this concept of memories and identities with the idea of happiness at the start of my talk. Yet, I'm pretty sure that each of us, and we ourselves, know best that there are portions of our life we just rather forget about. Issues surrounding the relations between our memories and our identity can cover various degrees of mental fallout. Again, the nature of our memories plays a crucial role in discovering who we are. Therefore, recalls of distressing past experiences can leave imperfect stains on a person's own self-image. Last year, I had the opportunity to study the novel On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, in which the theme of trauma is extensively explored through the narrative of the main protagonist, Little Dog. So as Little Dog walks the reader down the memory lane of his childhood, we find out that his mother, Rose, suffers from PTSD and was abusive towards him during tough times. However, despite her violent behaviors, the book also makes it undeniable that Rose has always had the uttermost love for her son. It's just the trauma from surviving through the Vietnam War that has deteriorated her mental stability and hindered her from expressing proper maternal affections to Little Dog. So, in Rose's case, it is the identity crisis inflicted by her past trauma that has prevented her from being the mother that she has aspired to become for Little Dog. Nonetheless, there is still another role that memories can play in the loss of our feeling of identity. In this next example, I'll talk about how the present course of events can cast a shadow of self-doubt over one's being. The story goes, there's a girl who had always been a bright math student. During the majority of her secondary years, she would get straight A stars and even lots of perfect scores. She went to math competitions and would often be chosen to solve challenging problems in front of her class. Well, that girl is me. Everything was going great until I entered year 11. Oh my God. On my first chapter test, I got a B. And the thing is, I had pretty much never gotten anything below an A before. It hurt me quite a bit, But then I thought it would probably just be a one-time incident, like if I revise harder, I would do better. But oh boy, little did I know it was only the beginning. I then would score another B, and another one on my semester exam, and another one on my IGCSE mocks. The math in me wasn't mathing anymore, and suddenly, I was no longer the girl who I thought I has always been. Yes, I might sound dramatic, and it could have been worse, but it's not necessarily about the scores themselves that I want to share about. It's the change, the twist that got the best of me. And the most painful part was that I would never expect myself to have mental breakdowns over math exams. And when they actually happened, I couldn't feel more self-pity. But hey, what about me now? After destroying an entire forest by doing, that much past paper, I had managed to nail a solid 8 on my actual IGCSE. So now looking back, I'll rate that era of mine a 3 out of 10. Horrible, wouldn't recommend to anyone, but did allow me to gain plenty of insights on myself. So yeah, memories, good or bad, joyful or upsetting, all help us to navigate our perception in life. For instance, how do we know if someone is hurting our feelings? Well, they make us feel terrible, and that's because we understand what happiness is supposed to feel like. Or whenever we get nervous, we subconsciously recognize that we can no longer sense comfort at the moment. It is these episodic recollections that come together to generate our own behaviors and reactions towards the many scenarios that life brings. Without them, we humans wouldn't have any personal history and will just exist as abandoned bodies. Therefore, they contribute significantly to the formations of our identities, which I believe are what set the very fundamental interconnections of any and all human aspects. Wait a minute. Why did she say any and all human aspects and not just like among humans? Does that mean she include objects too? Well, let's have a look at an everyday item. This chair looks familiar. So this is his chair that some of you guys are currently sitting on. So you see, from the fabric outside to the stuffed cushion inside, every component and element around us is imprinted with remarks of human involvement. Like these chairs, they represent the labor accomplishment of their designers, of the workers who assembled the parts, and of the drivers who delivered them. Now, here they are for our lovely audience to sit on. In a way, you guys have also been included into the diverse histories of these chairs. And for this reason, it is hard to deny that objects can be mediums of connections too, as they are able to join the numerous memories of humans being together. Hence, the type bond between one's memories and their identity doesn't just establish interconnectedness among humans, but pretty much within the entire existence of the world. So this whole thought process has guided me to the following conclusion. What is actually meant to distinguish humans from each other is also what links us all together. Kind of contradicting, right? Let's just take a look around this room. I know the lighting is not very bright, but we can kind of easily see that there are about like 30, 40 people being present at the same location, same time, and listening to the same speech. Do we share similarities in these specific ways? For sure. However, the real interconnectedness lies in the things that can't be seen through our regular eyes. It can only be acknowledged in our minds that behind each and every person here is an exclusive background to themselves. The uniqueness that our identity offers, the uniqueness of our identities offers so many dynamics and possibilities to our environment. We are able to initiate different relationships by acknowledging the identity of the people we meet and respecting the potential values that they can bring into our life. Imagine if we don't have any memories of our interactions with the world around us. When we meet people, how would we represent ourselves if there's no individuality from within? people can only recognize who we truly are, not through our physical presence, but through our various life stories that assemble our selfhood. Finally, I want everyone to think about themselves. Upon reflecting back on our own experiences, we would likely revisit some of the lowest moments of our life. And for me, during the periods when I was struggling with self-disappointment, my past memories acted as a major soul support, reminding me of how I was still capable and still worthy of everything that my life had granted me. It's easy to just want to discard every unpleasant instances in our life. However, that also means we tend to miss out on the life lessons and the indications for change that are left behind. They show me how memories can help to ease our hardship by being a representation of future progress rather than just reminders of burdensome reminiscence that we're forever stuck with. Therefore, despite times when reality makes us feel like certain parts of ourselves have been lost or drastically changed, just remember that it'll be our episodic memories, the core of everybody's existence, that will remain unchanged for us to hold on to. So why don't we cherish that more? That's all from me today, guys. I hope everybody have a great day, and thank you so much for listening.